Well, good afternoon, District Board members. Giving this report on video to help you get ready for the meeting on Tuesday afternoon. I'm recording this on Saturday afternoon, so we still have a lot going on tomorrow with the new church plant launch. But I want to give you an update and really just have you be praying and thinking through the issues that we'll be discussing Tuesday afternoon. And so this is the report, my official acts, and I will put an outline of this report in the Google folder. And then there are other items in the folder for you to look at in preparation for the meeting. As we get started in the fall, I wanted to share my theme for my pastor's LDJ meetings this year, at least this fall, is on listening to the voice of God. I read a book that I'll be sharing called The 10-Second Rule, just sort of on the issue of obedience whenever God does speak to you. And I think that's one of the keys to really training your ears to hear God's voice and just be sensitive to what God is doing. I think that's a key part of our leadership role. And so I'll be sharing that with the pastors. Look forward to that starting on the third Thursday of September and going through November. I shared earlier we had the launch on Sunday, September the 7th. September the 7th. So that is for Redeemed Church, and excited about that. Nathan has been having several vision meetings through the summer. He's been advertising this online, through Google Ads, through social media. Each time he sounds like he has a good group of people come out. Not everyone determines that this is the church for them, and I think that's the way it should be, but there's been a good core group developed. Last Sunday, the people at the Vine Wesleyan Church have a prayer, a dedication for that team that they're sending out, and looking forward to services. They've decided to have 2 services tomorrow. Just at least the first Sunday is often a lot of well-wishers, but we'll see how many come out, and we'll be able to share that with you Tuesday. So there have been several things going on related to this. Let me just share an update on the building. We had talked about Zion Quest and Redeem and the potential of Recovery Church all sharing that building. Kim Gladden came to us in July and said they have been looking at other potential locations to meet and had decided to rent a space on Kensington Avenue. So I've updated the DBA at that time. We are helping them financially. We had approved already to help them with a $10,000 grant or payback for money that they were out after Home City left them many years ago. And so that is helping with transition costs and the deposit for the lease. And so they will also begin their first services in September and have moved out completely of the property at 4600 Union Road. The board will be meeting on Tuesday. Now, as far as why they did this, I'm not sure I have the complete answer. I'm trying to be honest with you. I do sense that there was some disagreement within their congregation about how well the sharing of the facility would go. But it's also, they are a small congregation, probably averaging around 15 or 20 people in a church building that could easily seat over 100. And this new space is a smaller space for them. And so I think they have the potential of having some more energy. It also does not have stairs to get to the sanctuary, so that is helpful for some of their older members. And so at least the way Kim has portrayed it to us is not a bad thing. They're looking forward to this change, and we'll be working to make that the best they can. So we are working now on a memorandum of understanding with Redeemed Church, just to sort of what that means for them to be the primary tenant or church using the property, and they will have additional expense as far as utilities, yard, snow plowing, those kind of expenses that we were planning to split between the two congregations. But I think it will be better for Redeem not to have to share the building. They are already doing a lot as far as fixing it up and making it a space that they are comfortable in. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like Sunday, and then we'll get a tour of this Tuesday afternoon as well. We'll be meeting with Corey Neiman, who'll be sharing the vision for the Recovery Church, and this is really working with Redeemed Church in this space, probably a Friday evening service, but they may have a support group during the week as well. And so this will be a partnership between Redeemed Church and Recovery Church on using that building. Now, because of some of that, we are working on property management issues, and the district is assuming at least the primary control of the utilities and working on the yard care and the snow removal, and then billing Redeemed Church. So they are responsible for paying it. We just want to try to make sure we have that the bills are getting paid through the district. So that's in process, but Kim Pecora has expressed a willingness to start as a property manager, and then Carissa Belleville, the district administrator, has set up all the bills to be auto-paid by the district, and so I think we are getting at least the key aspects of this ironed out. Another key change going on in September is Peace Wesleyan Church. I was at the last service that Jason and Tammy Clayton were at a couple weeks ago. We gave them the gift. They actually shared some of what their ministry is going to look like. It's not definite, but Jason had a couple guys that he had worked with through Clean, Saved, and Sober share testimonies of just how that ministry has impacted them. Tammy's going to be working with a ministry that goes into the public schools and does Christian support groups. And so they shared that vision, and I think received a prayer sending them off in a good spirit. Julia Hotchkiss is beginning this Sunday. This will be her first Sunday. I'll actually go down on the 14th to do a prayer of anointing for her as the new pastor. And I think this is going to be a good move for the church. I think the people there are encouraged, even hopeful. Right now, a lot of the work for the transition has been getting the parsonage updated a little bit. So they've taken out carpets, they're putting in new carpets and fixing up the floors and the walls and the bathroom and those kind of issues. But they have done a lot of work. And there have been teams, at least a team from the Higgins Wesleyan Church, and I know Dan Jones and Bruce are down there today working on the parsonage, Bruce Smith. And so they'll be able to share, or at least Dan will be able to share a little more update on the parsonage. We have offered the grants that the DBA approved in June, so a $10,000 grant for the operating budget at Peace. We've done $5,000 of that. We'll do another $5,000 in 6 months. And then I've made available $3,000 from our building committee for the parsonage, just to help them with the carpet, flooring, and bathroom. And it probably will come in a little under, probably between $2,000 and $3,000, but I made that available to them. And then we also gave the Claytons a gift of $500 each for Jason and Tammy. The church added to that and gave them a gift on their last Sunday there. So that's an update on Peace. I'll be able to share a little more, but I'm encouraged by what progress I'm seeing. One of the things that we'll be talking about is General Conference memorials. So I just want to give a quick update. Some of you are delegates to General Conference. An email went out this week to all delegates. One of the first steps is to give nominations for General Superintendent. So each of the delegates will be able to submit up to 3 names to to headquarters. Or there's Beth Sanders, is I think who we emailed them to. And we won't necessarily talk about that at the DBA meeting, but I want to let you know that's going on. We will approve 3 memorials that come to us from the Action Committee, and so they will be in the folder. Really not controversial issues, almost routine issues or polity issues that we're trying to clean up some things. But we'll discuss that. We'd welcome your input on any of those 3 issues. We're making a slight change in the district office, at least the district administrator's role. It's been 1 year since Carissa was approved as our district administrator. She is working out great and hopefully is continuing. So that's not the change. Mary Beth has enjoyed, especially this summer, cutting back to 20 hours a week. And she's got other things. She's working on the worship class, also keeping our grandson George 1 day a week. And so she's talked to me about possibly scaling back more to 10 hours a week. And so we discussed with Carissa what that would look like. Carissa's not able to assume more hours, but we have approached Amanda Harley about assuming some additional responsibilities. Now, she would not be called a district administrator, but it really would enhance her role as the events coordinator. And so she would be probably called something like a meetings and events administrator. And so she would take the part of the meetings and events that the administrators have been working on. So this is one of the things I've been giving leadership to is the pastor and spouse retreat, the heart-to-heart weekend that Mary Beth's been doing. So Mary Beth will still be in charge of that, but helping her with that. And then meetings such as Action Committee, Nominating Committee, even some of the scheduling for the DBA. Mary Beth will maintain the DBMD and all things related to the ministerial training course and the people going through the credentialing process. So that's a good chunk of her time. She'll also maintain the insurance aspect of her job. And then there'll be some miscellaneous stuff that she'll hold on to, and will be continuing to train Carissa or things that come up, or train Amanda on this. So I'll be presenting this to you for approval. Amanda Harley is the wife of Mark Harley, the pastor at Fillmore Wesleyan Church. Very capable. We've already appointed her as our event coordinator, and she had a lot of responsibility with district conference, even though she got sick on the day of conference and was not there. All the preparation work, getting ready for that, she was in charge of, and impressed me, impressed Mary Beth and Carissa, and felt like she'll do a good job with that. So a couple other just miscellaneous things just to report. Not that we will necessarily have anything on the agenda related to this, but the Houghton Church, just want to give you an update that Randy Craker has started in early August, and then they had their report 2 weeks ago to give the assessment report. Lonnie Bullock from Next Step Church Services came and gave their assessment report. It's about a 100-page document. Probably the first 40 is and then there's a summary page too. But that is actually in our Google folder if you'd like to read it. Primarily, what they're saying is that the weakness or the thing that they're going to work on is that the church has become too inward focused. So the things that are discipleship, congregational care, taking care of the people that are part of the church are the strong areas, but the things that are community outreach, evangelism, even some ministry to new college students that are coming seem to be a weakness. So the pastor, the assessment team and the pastor are focusing on that as what they'll be working on this year. And so I thought it was an interesting and actually insightful report. And looking forward to seeing how that is worked on through the year. I've been very impressed with Pastor Randy and how he has just been very warm and loving to the congregation, his wife Robbie as well. And but taking them through this, it's not always easy to hear the criticism or the things you need to work on, but they've done a good job in this first 6 weeks, or 4 or 5 weeks that they've been there. They will be, we haven't put together a search team yet. We've waited until the report, but at the next board meeting, they'll be identifying potential search team members, and then I'll start meeting with them probably in October and begin the process of posting the position and looking at potential candidates. Have received several names. I haven't talked to any of the potential people yet, but it's just been gathering a list of potential names to work on to bring to the search team at the time that it's appropriate. The East Leon Church, I want to give you an update on that. Bruce Ellis and Dylan Hawkins have provided, I think, great leadership over the last 6 months. Well, actually, it's probably 4 months since it goes back to January. Karen Cleveland retired, and they are seeing, I'd say, 2 key changes. One is just new leaders stepping up. There's one couple that's remaining, but the rest of the board are all new people to the board anyway. And I think a good change, a good needed, necessary change in the board. So that's been positive. And also they've done a lot of work on the property, both making the sanctuary look more attractive and neat and clean, and just even fixing the water. There was an issue with the water that needed a special UV filter. So it's now safe to drink, and they're able to have fellowships and such with at the building. So a lot of work has gone into that. I'm very appreciative to Bruce and Dylan for the work at that. And I think we're seeing some fruit, stability, and even growth at the East Leon Church. We had met with Jim Wonke in July. He is starting at the Wyoming Mission. This is a mission of Fillmore Wesleyan Church. They've been having services on Saturday evening every other week up through the summer, or through August. And they're going to start with Sunday services, but almost as what's often called a soft lunch, where they're not really publicizing, but they're just working through the motions. So they'll begin weekly services in September on Sunday morning, and then try to figure out if they're going to do Sunday morning, Saturday night, what's the best pattern and rhythm for the church. And then they're looking in early October to publicize, sort of advertise, and get this out to the community, and have what would be more of a public launch in October. So still seeing how this shapes out. I don't anticipate this being a particularly large congregation, but I think if it goes to 20, 25, 30 people in this first year, I'd be pleased. And Jim is excited for the progress he's seeing there. One other, I put on the note, again, nothing I'm asking you to do, although we may help them out some financially, is Christ Chapel has an issue with their boiler. So they're debating whether it needs to be replaced or repaired, but that's probably going to be a large expense, and they're looking at the possibility of borrowing if it does need replacing. So that would be something either the executive committee or the DBA would have to approve. Other things on the agenda, just we have received 4 or 5 applications for the new initiative grants. I'm just presenting this for information and feedback, but the deadline is October 1st, and we said we would wait until then to start issuing the grants. But we're putting them in a folder. If you want to look at them, they're on the Google folder. Just finished this week the update of the pastoral evaluation form with the changes to instituted in 2022 for the pastoral vote process. I've updated that and given the board some guidance on sort of how to think through the renewal process. We have 6 pastors up for evaluation this year. If you have questions or if you'd like to look at that, send me an email. I'd like to talk to, especially pastors, but any of you that want to go over that. We talked a little bit about Refresh at their July meeting, and so I don't have that on this agenda, but we'll try to get that on the agenda at some of one of the board meetings this year. We are planning the meeting for the end of July. We're looking at 19th through 24th of July for next year's camp, and Sarah Dirk to be the speaker for next year. One other thing I'll just report, we've had some concerns regarding our accounting services. We switched in January from shared accounting services, which were Sherry Gorvette and Kevin Batman, the general treasurer, was overseeing that, to Misty Short, who is an accountant, a Wesleyan accountant in Alabama. Tiffany Johnson continued to be our bookkeeper that worked under Misty. She also worked under Sherry. So there's some continuity there, but there have been issues that we're trying to figure out if we just are not communicating well with the new setup, or if they are just overwhelmed. So at this point, I'm not ready to make a recommendation other than just share there's been concerns Paul and I have shared. And I'll put this on the agenda for December to review. We did make a 1-year agreement with Misty Short starting in January. So we'll need to renew that in December if we're going to continue with them. All right, so that's it. The other stuff you can find on the Google folder. Feel free to email me if you have a question or anything that you want to bring up for the meeting on Tuesday. Pray for us tomorrow as we start at Redeemed Church. And as Julia has her first Sunday, and I think even as Jim Wonke has his first Sunday morning service at Church on the Green. There's a lot of things going on this week. God bless. I'll see you Tuesday.